In the beginning of the 20th century, the Germans demolished.
हम हैं कलिनिनग्राड में, रशिया में। आज का वेदर जो है वो है 2 डिग्री। अभी बज रहा है इवनिंग का 3:30। तो हम निकले हैं सिटी टूर में। हमारे साथ है एक लोकल गाइड जो अभी हमें लेकर चलेंगे।
And those Germans, they started to bring some documents, photos, their memories, and step by step we have been recreating the history of our city. And today we know quite a lot. And today we are going to have a city tour, and we'll try to find some connection between German Königsberg and Russian Kaliningrad. For many years it was not very big. A city surrounded by a fortification wall. And only in the beginning of the 20th century the Germans demolished the wall and the city started to grow. And before the 20th century, in this place there was a very large forest. And some old trees survived. For example, we are standing near an oak tree. Some people say this tree is about 300 years old, a very old one, and they say it is a tree of wishes. Now it belongs to university. And can you guess the modern nicknames, how local people name them? In the court it was advocate and prosecutor. At university,
No guess.
so student and professor during exam.
Makes sense, yeah.
Administrative center, because the building to the right, the grey one, is a city hall, Kaliningrad City Hall. But we also have a historic center which we visit a bit later. In this part of the square, all buildings are of German origin. Behind me there used to be a train station. Now it's a business center. Behind you to the left there is a university building, technical university. It used to be a building of the original court in German time. But the most interesting building you can see over there, the red one with a green roof. It was built in the beginning of the 20th century as a police department. Then when the Nazis came to power, it was Gestapo headquarters. And after the war, maybe you can guess which organization? KGB. Now that is FSB headquarters. Some people say there are 5 underground levels. Luckily I haven't checked, so cannot tell you for sure, but actually there is some secret passage to the place where we are now, because we are above a railway tunnel. If you look over there there is I can say a train passage from one train station to another, and half of the way, not half, 170 meters, trains go beneath this place.
Okay.
Through the tunnel, and they go up again behind this building. Just in case. Of course it's a joke, but every joke. And the main decoration of the square is the main Russian Orthodox cathedral over there. It was built in 2006, and if you'd like we can go inside. Yeah. Very beautiful inside, so let's walk over there. Towns, they are named after Lenin. And the buildings over there, they are of Soviet period, typical constructions known as Khrushchevkas. They, in fact, they're very simple, like blocks of flats. But by the time of the World Football Cup 2018, they were renovated, and these boring buildings they were turned into nice ones. Now I suggest to go one stop by bus. Would you like to make the long way shorter?
Yes.
So by public bus, one stop. First, this is the main river of the region. It runs 123 kilometers from the east to the west, that direction. And it runs into the Baltic Sea. And two arms of the river, they create two islands. We are going to cross over the bridge and we'll be on a very huge island which is 2 kilometers long. But our aim is the small island. It is small, about 12 hectares. And on that island, you see there is the oldest building of Kaliningrad, old German cathedral built in the 14th century. And this is a place where a great German philosopher, Immanuel Kant, was buried over there. Okay, 14th century. It was called Wooden Bridge because residents of this small town, Altstadt, they brought woods from the island to the town over this bridge. That is why it's called a Wooden Bridge. Is a new one. Was built in 2018 at the place of old German synagogue, which was built in the 19th century but demolished during the Crystal Night. The Nazis, I can say right out, in November 1938. But Kaliningrad Jewish community got permission to build a synagogue at the same place and in the same style. And so this Kaliningrad synagogue, it looks like the old German one, but a bit smaller. The German one used to be 10 meters higher. The building to the left, the red brick one, it survived the Nazis' time, the war. It used to be a Jewish orphanage for Jewish kids. Now it is a residential building. Behind the synagogue, if you look right, you can see the whole area of Soviet blocks of flats, which appeared in the 1980s. And behind me, there is a building of the 14th century, so different types of architecture, different periods of time. And along the river, there is a modern place which is called the Fish Village. It was built in 2005. Actually, it is not a village at all, and there is no fish. It's a line of houses, 820 meters long, along the river. And the Fish Village was built to the 750th anniversary of the city. The idea was to restore at least a bit the look and the spirit of pre-war Königsberg. All houses, they have different architectural styles, different design, and there are 3 hotels, cafes, restaurants, and a lot of offices there. Before the war, the population of this small island was 30,000 people. And all this disappeared during the war. During the British Royal Air Force bombardment. After this bombardment, the area looked like this. A lot of people died, a lot of houses burned down, and like this, the picture of the same place. You see only the remains of the cathedral. In the Soviet time, after the war, they cleaned the area. They arranged a park, and in the Soviet time, they decided not to demolish the ruins of the cathedral because the burial place of a great German philosopher Immanuel Kant is located near the building, but the reconstruction began only in the 1992. So after the Soviet Union collapsed, and the rebuilding of the cathedral was done with people's money, because the state, Russia, at that time didn't have money to rebuild German buildings. It was a very difficult economic situation in the country, but local people gave money for restoration, rebuilding. Local companies gave money, and by people's efforts, the building was reconstructed rebuilt from the ruins, you can see. And today this is the oldest building of the city. In the Soviet time it looked like this, you see. Not much remains. Cathedral was constructed in the 14th century, the Catholic Church. After the war it was in ruins for many years, and now it is not a church at all. It is a cultural religious center. Inside there are two small chapels, a small Orthodox one and a Lutheran one, a small museum, Immanuel Kant Museum, and the main hall of the building is used as a concert hall because in 2005, when we were celebrating the 750th birthday of the city, it was a great celebration, a lot of guests from other regions, from other countries, and the main guest of the celebration was President of Russia, Vladimir Putin, and he was impressed very much when he learned how much work had been done to rebuild the cathedral, and he was impressed even more when he learned that it was made with people's money, not from the state. There are models of most famous buildings of Königsberg, and in the center there is a model of Königsberg Castle. To the left, the model of the cathedral. And if you look at the model and at the real building, which is 60 meters tall, you can imagine how huge castle was. Actually, it could have been rebuilt, and our neighbor